think we are live. RivelBop Studios. And I should probably actually have this prepared before I do this thing, but whatever. Alright, that's gonna blast. Maybe we shouldn't blast on the mic. Let's see. Crap. Let me put up my volume. Let me just put it on full. Is it actually gonna work? Let's see. Alright, we are in the clear. I'm also gonna put down the actual music within the stream because I think it's a little loud. And hopefully I'm a little more clear now. Okay. So last time we were doing a stream, I did not have mic on or anything. I just never really have typically anything much to talk about. But now with this little VTuber guy, which is from me, Canyon, I have it linked in my description. It should make things a little bit more lively instead of just typing code. And on top of that, the whole reason why I used this image to begin with is actually because, funny enough, it's very similar to how I look like. So if I do a face reveal at some point, you guys will come to realize that it is actually eerily similar to this. So that's that. Okay. I'm going to leave this. Maybe I shouldn't have them. I just turned it right too high. Alright. I'm just gonna leave my browser, and I might just pull up the stream on my phone. I'll just leave it running. Problem with having a VPN is that things could be really slow on these stupid YouTube platforms. Alright. I'm not seeing comments though. You know, maybe it is smart to just have it pulled up on here, but not entirely, just the regular stream. open panel. Why can't I? Ah, wait. It's probably because my extension's blocking it. Yeah. There we go. I could check back from time to time. Alright. Let's do this. Alright, so off stream I did some server networking and I am going to take a quick look at my notes. I believe that is what I need to work on now. Finishing it up. Okay. Finish the disconnection. Okay, I gotta finish disconnecting the clients, and I have to, instead of using Note for most comments. Okay, so a few things. I'm going to do the more powerful thing here, and I am going to search through the code and try to find basically what I'm going to do right now is to make the documentation more clear. Actually, I'm not going to do that right now. I think it's better to just finish what I have here, and instead of just bouncing around, and then I'll do the thing. So what my plan is going to be is I'm going to finish the server. So all I really need to do for the server right now is I just need to handle disconnecting clients. So let me actually put down the volume on my microphone just a little. I'm just a little worried that I'm just gonna like blast my voice into the mic, which I tend to do quite frequently. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to now handle disconnecting, but before I do that, what I typically like to do is just kind of have a look through the logic and just make sure everything is correct. So in this case, I don't think we need to worry about anything to do with this. Register cryo, add the listener, bind it. Okay, yeah, that's good. This can all stay. This is just some other stuff. Okay, let's just start with the connection method. And that will be that. Now can't just add a client, since we don't know. So yeah, typically in a game, I would just create a kind of data storage through a packet and store it into our like integer map. But in this case, I'm actually choosing a little bit of a different system. I'm going to be using versions for the packets because I don't want people from an older version of the game or a newer version of the game to be able to like interact with your current version of the game, because that will cause a lot of issues with how the packets are actually read, and it will just be obviously incompatible. So it doesn't even make sense to read packets that have incompatible versions. So I just put a little tag here that we're attempting to read it, just to have something in this connection method. So we're just going to leave that as it is. So this is the main thing, the most important part. If the object is an instance of a packet version, which is a class I'm using to check for versions, and the so in this case I just moved the line down here just because I feel like it's a lot clearer that get version is not equal to shared version, that this is the actual important part of this if statement. I mean, this is just an instance of check. I'm pretty sure newer versions of Java have much cooler stuff. This is Java version 11, so it's like the base for Android or whatever according to libgdx. I can't really do anything about that. So we could close this. So if it's an instance of packet version, which is good, convert it to a packet version, we'll cast it to a packet version, and check the version. If the version is not the version the server has, so we could do detect incompatible packet. So if it is not the same version as the server, what we need to do is, yeah, we'll have a to-do in here for now. I don't really know what we're gonna do with it just yet, but with this connection, the packets are incompatible. I might do maybe disconnect the player, the client from the server. Just kick them off. Well, basically, more like kick the client from the server, and we are going to use an empty client packet. So basically, since we're using bitwise operations, I can just do an empty client packet, and that will I'm just going to use that as like a disconnect packet, because you don't really need any other data when you're disconnecting. So that will be that. No, it's what we don't need. Okay, so I kind of have my brother and I have this kind of I guess you would call it syntax, standard, whatever you'd call it. And honestly, I'm a huge fan of just putting curly brackets around like every single if statement, even if it's just a single statement. I just think it's more readable. But in this case, I am going to actually stick with no curly brackets, just because eventually, as you'll notice, there's going to be a bunch of instances of checks here that are going to be chained. So I'm not really interested in doing that. Yeah, I just left a comment down there. So far that's good. So if there's a mismatch, we're just going to return, so we're not going to check it. And disconnected. So what I might do is I might actually handle disconnection just right away. I mean, there's nothing else I really need to do. Yeah, so let's do if you received an incorrect packet version, and if it's a client packet, we're just going to kick the dude off. I think that's the best way of doing things. Well, you get the connection anyway, and so I'm assuming, yeah, they have some kind of version error. So if there's a version error of any sort, I feel like the player just needs to get kicked off. That's just not a good sign. So what I might actually do is I'm probably just going to do, I'll just send a packet to everybody saying, hey, this dude needs to get kicked off. So including the guy himself, because he'll interpret that and then he'll kick himself off. I don't think there's a way to directly kick somebody off the server. So we just need to do it like that. I think that's the best course of action. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna also make sure to turn down my volume a little more. I feel like I'm like being really loud, but I'm not sure. Also not sure how loud the music is, so maybe I'll just keep it at like that. Let me just check the stream real quick. This might make a bunch of sound. Let me pause the music. Let's see, testing 1, 2, 3. Come on. Let's see, testing 1, 2, 3. Oh no, my voice is quiet. Let's see, testing 1, 2, 3. Oh no, my voice is quiet. Maybe it isn't. You know what? Just to be safe. You know what? Let me just put it up to like this one. You know what? Let me just put it up to like this one. Just full volume, is that good? Oh, that's like creeping up. Just full volume, is that good? Oh, that's like creeping up. Just full volume, is that good? Oh, that's like creeping up. Alright, that's gonna loop. Alright, let's just turn that off. And let's turn down the volume. Can you tell I'm a 10 out of 10 streamer? Sure you can. Server that disposed. I'm gonna check the documentation, but I'm honestly very, very doubtful that that there's a way to kick. So I think we're just gonna interpret our own packet and just send it back to the dude and just let him know, hey, get off the server. No, there definitely isn't. I read through the documentation already, so just looking through the titles of each section makes it pretty clear that there isn't. Send to TCP. Let me just make sure though, but yeah, there's nothing here. Alright, so whenever we're doing something as important as handling client data, we are handling data like this relating to the connection states of the player. That obviously needs to be TCP. Yeah, because down here we're handling that. So let's just do, we're not doing anything here. So let's do server that sends to TCP, and that's just gonna alert every single person in the server that, hey, this guy needs to be kicked off, including the client themselves. And this is an empty one, contentless, which is the way I want to keep it. I want to keep it contentless. The only thing I want to add to this is a version's already created upon this, so I just want to make, I should probably rename that to packet. I hate having it say object. I think object is a horrible name for this. Yeah, but I don't think I have it anywhere else here. So I'm gonna rename that to packet. I think that's just a bad name. What instances? Is that the only one? Yeah. Detecting compatible packets. So the packet's instance of a packet version, and the versions are incompatible. We're gonna send a TCP to all the players to let them know that, hey, kick this guy off. Packet instance of client packet. Well, the big thing is, right, technically, if he wasn't compatible to begin with, there wasn't a packet at all. There wasn't data at all. So we can assume that, maybe I'll put that inside the thing. So instead of sending it to all, since we know this guy thinks he's already in, we gotta tell him to get off. So send to TCP connection, get ID, and finally we're gonna let him know, hey, get out. And one way we could do this, we could always make it so that if it's like a negative one for the ID, that means you're the one being kicked off. But I feel like it's a lot more clear when it's the actual person. So I can never tell what it is. So maybe I'll do a client packet. I'll just make a new one. We'll do disconnect packet. We'll do a new client packet, and if we mark it as empty, I'm going to consider that a disconnect packet. And what we're going to do is we're going to do one thing. We're going to set the ID equal to the connection.getID. Really hate repeating these lines. So what we might do, we might do it up here. Int ID equals connection, get ID. I just prefer having that variable disconnect packet, and then disconnect ID is equal to this, and send to TCP. So send it to specifically this guy because we can already assume we've already made up our mind. We could send it. I can't think of a reason why we would. So I'm going to, because no matter what, you need to still alert the server that, hey, I'm here. And then I think from that point, I would then do everything else. So I think no matter what, I'm going to make it do that. I could do that in the client packet and then never have a version to begin with. Yeah, because I can't imagine us needing a version for any other packet, right? Why would you need a version for like anything else you would send over, except for the fact that you yourself need a version? To be fair, at that point, I should have probably also made it so that if you send over your username, you've also sent over your version. Because it's awful to keep sending over a version when you only need it in the initial packet, right? The wonders of networking. Alright. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to do this completely differently. I'm gonna be a smart little prick about it. If the packet is an instance of a client packet, we're gonna right away assume the client packet is the only one with the version code available, and the version code is only available when you initially send a username. And I'm actually gonna rename this username bit to a connection bit. So what I might do instead is, alright, here's what I'm gonna do instead. This is going to be kind of a big rework, but I think it'll be worth it. So what we're going to do is we're going to check if it's an instance of a client packet, and we're going to convert it into client packet like so. Okay, good. We have the client packet. And instead of doing that get version nonsense and stuff and having like a packet version thing, which honestly, like I said, I can't imagine using in anything else, what we're going to have instead is we're going to have this, and if the version is incompatible, so we've received the packet, and if the client packet dot content bits have a, and eventually I'm going to rename this, so I'm just gonna call it by the username bit. I'm going to rename this to the instead of the username bit, maybe like a connection bit or something. So it's just like, you know, just for connecting in general. You send over your username and you send over the version of your game over that. So we're going to have a client packet.content bits. So we're checking the bits of the current packet that we've just received. And if it contains that username bit, aka our connection bit, so if it contains it, then what we're going to do is we are going to, first of all, assign an ID, which we should do to begin with, though we do it down here to not clog up the thing. But I'm actually going to handle it there, maybe. You know what? I'm doing this in a very questionable way because I already have this call here, right? So instead of doing it like this, we're already doing it down here anyway, right? We're already sending the packet thing. And if it's a username bit, we're already doing that. So hear me out. We delete that. We check the version in there. Let's delete this garbage. Good. We don't do anything on connection. We don't do, on disconnection. We will do something, obviously. Here's the important part. So we've already assigned the ID, so we'll know the ID. And right away, hate that I put down comments about the username. It's gonna drive me crazy. I don't know what. I haven't checked on Twitch. Yeah, it's gonna drive me crazy. That's gonna be a problem. So let's search for username. We don't need that anymore. I'm gonna rename this right now because it's a connection of it. I'm gonna go insane. Username? Nothing. Good. Do nothing on the connection. We've received a client packet. We call this method We pass the connection past this. So right away, most important part, we assign an ID to this packet, which is the ID of the connection we just grabbed. Now what we're doing is we're doing checking to see, okay, did this player just connect? If the player just connected, they're gonna have a version, and we're gonna change that in the serializer. So that is what happens. You get no sleep. Alright, I've returned. Come back from my travels around the world. No. Can I pause and join your own stream? What is that? Nah. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm jumping around, like I have like 100 different things happening in my brain. So searching up username. Alright, there's nothing to do with a username in here now. Man, I really should have planned this out better, huh? Public final class. No. This we all handle this correctly. On connection is just a log. That's fine. Public void received. So if it's a client packet, then we pass it on to that, and we convert it to a client packet and we pass it. I just hope the comments are also fine. Man, awesome job. The expert. That comment still works. Instance of a client. Yeah. Coding multiplayer is such a pain. Okay. We're back here. We give it an ID. We can identify it, which the server handles. It always has a version and it always has some content bits already prepared. So now, if we have the connection bit, which means if this packet was to indicate that the client has just connected, before we do anything, we should check to see if the version of that packet is incompatible. So if the version of the packet is not what the server has, which means our versions are different, and then let's always put a comment. Detect incompatible client version. So if the packet or the client has a version that's different to the server, obviously we would return. We wouldn't call the rest of this code, but we should also let only that player know, because nobody else knows. Only the server knows that this guy just connected. Nobody else knows yet. Nobody else is alerted until this point. So nobody else knows. Only the guy is connected and the server knows the guy is connected. So what we need to do is we need to tell him, hey, get out. So a good way of doing that would be, we could just reuse the packet, because the way it's serialized is based on the content bits. So we just set content bits equal to client packet dot oh, well, obviously I don't have an empty one. So that definitely makes it a lot clearer if I make a variable here. Empty is equal to 0. That definitely makes it a lot clearer that, hey, this literally has nothing. So if we search for 0, we start passing it around. This one needs to stay at 0. That doesn't make much sense. I am planning to make a method for that. I think it just looks really, really ugly. Doing the bitwise operations instead of doing like a contains method or something. So we're probably gonna fix that. Okay. So he has the ID. This is indicated to have to be about connecting. And we detect incompatible client versions. So the packet that version is not the server's version. Now we're telling the packet, hey, you have no content. So you do have an ID. You've latched on an ID, which we're going to use on the client side to check whether we need to get kicked off. And he has no content. And the version I don't care for. Yeah, so we'll just let him know. The client himself isn't really going to do any client-side version checking. Just because I think there's just no point. The server should do the checking. All the client needs to know is, hey, I got kicked off. There has to be no reason for it, honestly. And since nobody else knows he's available, all we have to do is do server.send to TCP. We already have the ID stored, which is what I really like about storing the ID up there. And then we let him know, hey, dude, you're getting kicked out. Oh, and instead of using 0 here, two bits. Yeah, cool. Mark packet as empty to indicate client disconnect. So okay, we're kicking this guy off. And we're only telling this guy because nobody else knows that anybody else is around. Only note, only sent to connected. Only sent to new client since other clients haven't detected. And I always make sure to put down these notes just because, you know, if you ever look back at code and you don't remember the reason why you put something a certain way, it's a lot easier to just have a quick little note on top just letting you know, hey, if you're ever confused, you probably might be confused about this, here's a little note. So, yeah. Good. Incompatible version. Packet version is not what the server has. Mark it as empty, as ID. Send it back. And tell him, hey, you need to get kicked off. And return so we don't call the rest of this. That's good. Send existing clients to the new client. So now if we, because it's a connection bit, if our versions match, we're good. Now what we need to do is we need to alert everybody else that, hey, this guy's connecting. So Well, no, now we need to tell this guy, hey, this is the people that are currently in. So send existing clients to the new client. So we loop through the existing clients have values, and send to TCP, so send it to the specific guy, the existing client. All data will be considered updated. So yeah, then what we do with that packet, the current packet, is we fill it up with bits, because we're gonna have the server decide every part of the client's packet, and fill it with data. So we'll do that. All data will be considered updated, and then we do clients.put ID packet. Considering that definitely has to be a to-do. So now the server stores them. I'm a big fan of lining up the comments. So now the server stores this guy with his ID and his filled packet, and now it alerts to everybody but himself. It alerts everybody but himself. No. No, that's wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. Because if we alert everybody but the guy that just joined, also needs to know about his own state. According to the server, of course. Wow, this is a painful process. The big thing is also... Hear me out. For the connection, but obviously we're only expecting this. No. I like this logic more. It's really a struggle to wrap your brain around. Alright, let's go back to understanding this. Okay. Have the ID. It's a connection bit. The versions are incompatible. This part's definitely correct. We leave the version the same. We store the ID. We've already got that. And we're letting it know, okay, there's nothing, which means, okay, only this guy should know, hey bro, you're getting kicked off, and just return. We don't want to call anything else from this. Considering all data to be updated in here. If I do want to change the logic, I mean, I could eventually change it. Alright, so this part's obviously fine. So send existing clients to new client as a previous one. That's fine too, because we have existing clients and then we send it to this guy. All data will be constructed, and this is the part that's a little iffy. Because this guy has to know about his own state as well. But he shouldn't be told stuff like his version and his username, because obviously that's just a waste of the packet data that we have. We're already under the assumption that he's gonna be sent. So all the way up here is fine. So what we're actually gonna do is first we need to tell this dude about himself. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do packet, I can actually spell, content of bits equals everything but the connection bit. Yeah, which is 1, so everything but the connection bit. So he doesn't need to know about his own connection bit. And then what we'll do, the client must be positioned and prepared here. So he will get positioned here or whatever. And the first guy we'll send it to is himself. So now we have the ID, we know the version is good, we're letting him know, okay, update everything but the fact that he's connected, because we don't need to know the username already at his end. He knows his own username, and he knows his own version. He's already guaranteed to have those, he already knows it. So send to TCP, send it to himself. Anything else, update position values here. Then, what we do is this guy's, he's let know that, okay, so let's put a comment here. We want, let the new client know about his own data. Let the new client know that his data from the server. Everything. Let the new client know about his data from the server. Everything but his its own connection data, which it already knows. Client already knows let the client know about their data from the server, but their own connection data, which they already knows. No. That sounds more grammatically correct, right? This is like my OCD kicking in. This is like really bad. This is why development takes me so much time. This is why. Because my OCD kicks in, and now since I've made that one little comment change, I need to make that comment change everywhere. Ugh, horrible. Perfectionism at its finest. Really, really is annoying though. Okay. Yeah, great. Now I've lost track of what I was doing. So he knows about all the old guys. Now he's like, okay, let the new client know about their data from the server. Everything but their own connection data, which they already know. So they already know about this data. That's why we're using this to do everything but the current data. That'll like negate it, and I'll flip all those bits, bitwise, flip whatever it's called, I don't know. No, flip the current bits of the connection bit, which means everything but that. The client must be positioned here. We prepare everything, we fill everything in, and then we send to the TCP that current packet. Now that we have that current packet, still have all the data, we still have the ID, the version is still good, and we have a content bit. So send to TCP. All data will be considered updated for the other client's server. And that's because when we're actually just sending their existing client data over, it's actually much easier to just, they'll already have it marked in the server. So pack the content bits equals the fill bits, so that's fill bits. They'll fill the bits. I'll let them know all the data was considered updated. Clients.put ID packet. So now store the new client in the server. And this part. which is where that knot came in. Send to this guy. Well, data will be considered updated for the other clients in server. So then, everything's filled out, the server stores it, and we send it to all except TCP. Everybody except this dude. Yeah. I think that's correct. Looks right to me. And then return. This is assuming for us, obviously when you're connecting, I believe in any of these games, even if there's data being stored or something or whatnot, the server should be handling that. Should have nothing to do with the client. The client should not be positioning themselves, which means the client should have no control over anything but their own version and their username, which is what's being sent over the network already. So we return because we're not going to be doing any other checks for all these. Good. And yeah, no. If we want any anti-cheat, this would be the perfect place to check, like if they move an abnormal amount from their original position or something, if it's some crazy jump, then obviously that would need to be checked. We're about to handle this connection here. We handled that. We handled a new dude from the server's perspective. And we handled positioning, because I guess I just wanted that. Okay. And obviously, we had some like network checks, maybe some like quick little anti-cheat or lag back or whatever. That would also just send a TCP to the guy himself. So I think this whole part is good. We're handling kicking him off because his versions don't match. We're handling, okay, now you know all the other clients, they know you. Positioning them. And then the big thing is right here. Okay, disconnecting. So if the guy is disconnected, so one quick check we need to do is this is if the person themselves is disconnected, or this could also get called unintentionally when we are kicking him off. So what we would need to do is first, like I always like to do, is grab the ID. The ID is super important. And if the clients fortunately for us, we just need to check to see if it contains key. Since he wasn't even like a part of it to begin with. And if it wasn't a part of this server, if there was, if version was incompatible, therefore kicked. Like basically, if like the client was never a part of the server, to begin with. Therefore, nobody else knows that they ever existed. So if nobody else knows they ever existed, we don't really do anything. What is there to do, right? We don't alert anybody else. We don't remove anything from the server. You're just gonna get disconnected. The next thing we could do is, now we know we have the data, so now we know this guy exists. So we need to remove them from the server. Kick them off this part because they're already disconnected, they're already gone. And then we need to alert everybody else, okay, we booted this guy, or he's disconnected. So everybody else needs to know. Once again, I'm doing this all TCP based because these are important packets. So these are literally alerting. These need to arrive. Hey, there's a new guy here. So everybody needs to know about him. And if there isn't also a new guy. So clients are remove ID, and then server that's sent to all TCP, it's sent to all except TCP, so that's sent to everybody except this guy because this guy's already booted off. Why would he need to know that he's already been booted off? Ooh, and what we need to do is we could, that'd be very nasty. So what we might actually do is do this is disconnect packet. It knows the version already. It knows to store nothing. Only thing it needs is the ID. Alright. Well, actually, we never did a disconnect packet down here. And then just alert them. No content. Has no content. And it has the ID, so we know everything we need to disconnect it. Good. Remove client from server, and alert all other clients of disconnection. And that should handle it all. You remove from the server. In this case, right? Yep. In this case, we remove him. In case he disconnected. But if he was never there to begin with, then nobody else obviously had him. So we don't really do anything. That should handle it. I believe so. Of all this, it's just a matter of testing this out because, you know, doing this in my head is not the best. client packet. We're back. Hey, I have some fixes I need to do to actually make you work. Alright, let's go take a look at the top here first. Yeah, this is all good. Empty bits, now we have that. Fill bits, now we have that. Public static final byte connection bit. I'll leave the note. Whatever. Public static final byte, connection bit. Note only sent on initial connection. Yeah. Public static final byte position bit. Okay. Important things here. I like to order my stuff based on what will be available. What won't be. Right away, no matter what, the ID needs to be read. No matter the version, no matter any of this, the ID needs to be read. So that comes top. That is read no matter what. Following that, the next thing that's always read is the connection bits. These are always read. The ID comes first, and then what we're storing. Following that, this is what comes from the connection bit. And I'm going to be marking it down like this because I feel like it's smarter. Or, you know what? Yeah. So we're gonna mark it down like that. That's gonna alert us, okay, these two are for the connection bit. This guy is for the position bit. Yeah. Obviously the order of all the reads and stuff is gonna need to change. I feel much better having it be in the order that it'll show up. So like this. I just feel that the order being kept the same throughout will definitely help readability a little bit. This is the big moment here. We've changed a bunch of different stuff. First thing we always read is the ID. Follow that with the content bits. Follow that with the version. So we have ID, content bits, version, username, position. That's kind of the order of things. ID, identifier, content bits, what it actually has, and if it has a version, a username, position. Public void right. Cryo output client packet. That is the big one. So if we take a look at the order, first thing we're going to be writing is now the ID. Important. Output the right integer packet.id. Following that, we are now writing the content bits. These are the always written. The ID and the content bits. Like a good strategy to kind of space those out a little bit. Make them clear that they're all in different sections. Following that is the connection, and the connection only happens with when the connection bits occurs, and we write the version followed by the string, the username. And then it's the position. Good. All right, read. Read. Let's go check the live stream. Following that is the connection. The connection only happens with the connection bits occurs, and we write version followed by the string, the username. And then it's the position. And a quick look at the stream. My audio's heard and everything. Alright. Next part. We have the ID, content bits, version, string. Well, how do I say that? Version, username, and then and the position bit. Great. Following that is the read. Ugh, hates this one. The big thing is here, I already put a little error message, just alert stuff, and I also made it so that, like, even if you had more content or whatever, if it was incompatible, then, you know, it wouldn't work. But in this case, I think I'm just gonna leave it as it is. I mean, I guess we don't have to write more then, because then in that case it would already be incompatible. So we could save a bit of, you know, time, maybe. Would that have any bad implications, though? Then that would also be handled on the client end, and I feel like that's a little weird. To have that be handled client end. So what my plan is going to be here is actually, I'm just not gonna care. I'm just gonna read it and just have it. So let's do it like that. So we have the result. This is gonna be the actual resulting packet. And what we're gonna do is create a new packet with just empty data, and what we're gonna pass into it is, starting with the ID. We need to read the ID, so we have result.id. Unfortunately, I already did most of the stuff. It's just in a different order now. So then we can follow that by the content bits. Read the packet content. So now we're reading the contents of the packet, and seeing what bits we have. Yeah, that's good. Whoa, OBS really does take up a lot of performance. Just like a lot of looks like it takes up a lot of, like, just raw computer power. Especially on, like, this is an M3 Pro. Like, I feel like it could be doing a lot better. I don't know. Now, the price of this laptop's actually starting to seem kind of downright reasonable. Like, the new RAM prices and stuff. Alright, read connection ID. So, in the same order. So, we read the ID, we're good. Integer, good. Content bits. So I like storing it in the byte, separate byte, input that read byte. So now we're reading the content bits, and we're storing in here. Result.content bits equals content bits, which are the bits we stored here, and we store into the result. Detect incompatible packet version. This I don't want handled here. That's going to be handled on their own ends. I don't care. This is a matter of, okay, we're just reading the data, that's it. So what I might do is read the version, sure. Integer read version. Now, in this case, we actually don't need to store it like this anymore. We could just do what we did up here with the ID, and we could just take this and just store it like that. Result.version equals input.readInt. So that would be the third one, the version. And like I said, I don't care. And that reminds me though, actually, I want this. I want that. And then I just want to paste that up on top. Let me do that. So, crap, I just lost track of what I was doing. Maybe I have like ADHD or something. What am I doing in here? Ah, yeah, error message. If an incompatible packet is detected, I just want to that. I feel like network log tag is bad. Probably rename this, probably add a log tag up here and have it be the server. So what I might do, this is probably a smarter idea. I will just make a constant. I like calling them log tag, but server or server handler, server. Keep it simple. It's technically a log category because minlog calls it that, but whatever. It's whatever is easier for me to read. And then we'll just remove the network. I wonder if we even need to call that. No, we still do. Okay. Log dot. Do we call it anywhere else? I could care less about XML messages. I am looking for my project files. Log. Okay, can this? Okay, apparently I can't just click on it anymore. Yeah, this obviously also needs to be this server. Come on. It should be clear that this is coming from the server, or else there's no point of logging in general. I also don't want to overdo it with logging. I just think that's a bad idea. So let's do this, and let's go back here. Log tag, and that's for the server handler. Failed to dispose client handler. That's for the client end. So, okay. Since we're already doing this, freaking stupid little brain needs me to do it now. So, public tag, final string, log tag. I realized I really can't keep to one thing, can I? Client, and then, just have it be a constant. And that should be everything. Yeah, okay, the rest is just the actual import statements. Yeah. Alright, let's finish this. And we did put the error log in, right? Yeah, there it is. Client packet has incompatible version, and that will just alert me, though that's not really that significant, but I guess it's worth noting it. So let's go back to the client packet. So, okay, we read the integer. So first we read the ID we just passed in. Then we read the bytes, the content bits. Then we read the version. Now we only read the version if we have a connection bit. So, we read the version and the username. Because they're only both sent when we have that bit detected. So connection, if we have the bit, then we read the integer for the version, and then we read the username, and then the position, and then return the result. That's good. This looks good to me. Now, a big thing is I also want to simplify the actual calling of the the actual checking for the bitwise operations or whatever, checking the bits. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to commit this. That should be everything. Let me check my GitHub desktop real quick. So the only change we have in the client handler, unfortunately you won't be able to see any of this, but the only change that will be in the client handler is the log tag I just added. So fantastic work for me. Whatever, I'll just throw it all into one command. I really could care less. Game scene has just some example code, and then I'm just gonna quickly skim through the client packet. So right up here, oh, look at that. We can also get rid of this. That'd drive me crazy if I found that was in there. So we can look through the code at the same time. So we remove those two import statements, empty bits. So now we have empty bits. This just makes it a lot clearer what we're actually doing with the code. And fill bits. So that'll mark it as being filled, good for storing the actual data in a client packet. And anytime I need to actually send it over the server or whatever. Public static final byte connection bit, which is this. So yeah, we renamed this connection bit. This was actually the username bit originally, but I've decided why not just make that into a connection bit, since we need both the username and the version as soon as somebody connects. So yeah, only sent on initial connection. What else? 16. So note always read. I just put a little comment that these two are always read. They're always sent within any client packet, no matter what. So it doesn't matter what bits you have in your content. These two are always read. Following that, you have the connection bit. Yeah, okay, so just a little comment, and I just moved the version down here because I feel like it's a lot clearer when they're all like clumped together. So yeah, public and version, you said detect incompatible packets, and that's the username. Position bit, this stayed the same. This I just changed from byte 0 to just be the actual empty bits we just made, and same thing here. We scroll down to this constructor. What was the difference here? This I just reordered to go along with the order of the actual reading and writing of the data. So that's that. And here's the read and write order, which is now ID, content bits, version, username, and position, separated by the actual connections they have. Actual content bit they have. Output the right integer. Why did I replace that? That was the version that was moved down. So that is under the right. Right. Yeah, now we have the ID first, the content bits written next. Then we check for a connection bit, then we write the version, and then we write the username. And then the position. Then in here, what we do is we detect compatible. Okay, so I removed the stupid version checking. Yeah, that's all gone, right? That's what this is. Yeah, okay. So first I read the connection ID because that is the first thing we wrote, and then I read the content bits because that is this second thing we wrote. And of course we're storing it the whole time, each time we go through. And then we have a connection, so once we have a connection bit, we store the version into the result, and then we store the username. And I could put a return statement in here technically, but like I said, I'm going to keep it simple here. Whatever you put in is whatever's coming out. Though it would be smarter to just right away have that be done. Have that check be done. But that's like a small bit of performance, and it could introduce future bugs. So I think the most important part is that we just handle it in here, and this is as simple as, okay, this is the content we have and this is what's being put through. That's it. It has no extra logic apart from that. So that's the plan of this. So we just leave that, and then we give the position bit, and if that's detected, we read that and then return the result. This class looks good to me. And then finally, it's the server handler. The bulky one itself. Let's check my notes real quick. Finish the server disconnection. Yep. And yeah, I have some other stuff on it too. So let's just have a look at the server handler. Public static final. Yeah, we added the log tag. That's the big one. Well, not the big one. That's one of the changes. These can stay the same. These never changed. But that does remind me. You know when I had it done? When I added these, and I did all the stopping stuff and whatnot, I never cleared the data. Like so. And the same thing for the server. I'm gonna do it right there. And that's important because in case I want to just use one server instance and one server handler instance and one client handler instance, that will automatically handle getting rid of the older data. Hopefully that will work. I'm hoping I don't introduce any new bugs by doing that. I don't think I do. Yeah, because that's stopping it anyway. So those guys would get disconnected, and since those guys get disconnected, they would handle their own stuff. Now, of course, the server clears the clients when it stops only, not when anything disconnects. But the client handler, on the other hand, has to clear clients when it stops, but it also has to clear them when it's disconnected. What is this supposed to call stops that I'll clear it anyway? Same with this guy. Get back to checking over the code. So, very messy commit. I'm not great at committing like little pieces of code. I'm really bad at that. I haven't even like tested this code technically. So I'm just under the assumption that it is going to work. I am checking it over right now, but doing a logical check like this is never a good idea. But I've always been horrible at debugging, so we're gonna stick with it. Typically it's like 1 or 2 lines on this, and then I'll just break everything, and I'll be like, oh crap. So we clear when the server stopped. Okay, connected. We just log. Can this fit? Is that 100 lines? It is 98. Let's go. I absolutely hate when I have to like wrap the code around to fit under 100 lines, 100 characters. Makes it look so ugly. I'm a huge fan of keeping it under 100 characters though. I feel like it's just 100 characters kind of like, in my opinion, like the perfect amount. But 80 characters is also well known, but 100 is kind of like the middle ground for me. So we have disconnected log info. Alright. Righty. Big one here. Typically we don't do this, but I don't want to. Yeah. Instance of client packet connection. Yes is good. That's good. Fortunately, like the simpler code here is good. This is a big one. So if we get the connection ID, if we never had him in the server, if the version was incompatible, therefore kicked, the client was never a part of the server to begin with. So it was never part of a server, never have to send anything over to anybody else, and we never have to remove anything. But if it was, then remove the client from the server, and we have to make a disconnect packet and then put in a disconnect packet.id equals the ID that we just stored, and then send it to all except the guy that just disconnected. I really gotta clean this up. I could just make it like packet.contains, and that's it. That would be so much cleaner. Just looking at like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love bitwise operations, awesome things, great for performance, but man, they kind of like script the readability. I'm just gonna make that into a method. That'd be a lot better. Private void client packet. So we pass the connection, we pass the packet. So the connection is the person that actually sent it, and the person we received the packet from, and that's the packet itself. So we get the ID. Once again, I love doing this because it's much easier to call. And we store it in because we're going to create a packet. No matter what, it doesn't have an ID set up, and it doesn't have content set up, but the contents are set up by that packet itself. So that's that. If we have a connection bit, then we marked it as somebody that's connecting, detecting compatible client. So if the packet.version is not the version of the server, we're going to send an error message saying, okay, there's an incompatible client. We should probably put the client version. That would be smart. I want to take it like that. Like this. Instead of putting client packet, I want to wrap it around curly brackets because I like how curly brackets look. Look at that. Oh, and yeah, we don't need two string. Wait a minute. Wait, what? Why do we need a two string here? And not one here. Is it different based on what? I'm so confused. Why? Okay, so if I remove this, is this an error? No. So why am I being told? I am very confused. Interesting little quirk. Anything else like that? What are we checking? Alright, the error log tag connection has incompatible version. Note, only sent to new clients since other clients haven't detected them. Yeah, let them know that. Keep the version the same, the content bits be set to nothing, and then let them know, like, okay, we gotta get off this. An existing client to the new client. So the existing client from other clients sent to TCP. So we're sending to the current guy the existing client. And then we just take everything but the connection bit because the guy doesn't need to know that. And right here we put it. After we fill it out, which is what this to do is for. Now that we consider updated, and then we'll fill it in to put it into the server and put it into every other sent to all except. And then we just return because honestly we shouldn't be checking anything else other than that. At least this is why I did it in here. So it's clear that this is the server's doing, not anything else's. And this is just something else. Sent to all except the TCP. Yeah. This should be good. Hopefully. I'm a little spooked though. I'm a little scared. But it looks good to me. But that is just me saying that. Alright, let's just commit that. The best thing about having committed code is just it's so much nicer just knowing that you can't really lose anything now. I could just frolic around and just mess everything up. Obviously I probably shouldn't be doing that. So the final thing I'm going to do for this live stream, I'm going to handle the client end on my own. That's kind of my own thing. I'm going to be doing things on and off stream constantly. But now what I'm gonna work on is just quickly just adding this like contains method, and then I am going to call it a day for the stream. So let's just check public boolean. Maybe this should be like right here, I think. I feel like it's more, it fits better here. Contains. And this just takes in a byte. Well, no. I'm gonna call it content. No, well, that's the no, content bit. Content bit. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna check to see if that current client has it. So return content bits. Return content bit, which are the current content that the guy has. Any forms of content can be detected. I'm not sure why did I read that? Content bits, which is the current amount of bits that this guy has. And the content bit. Let me make it clear that it looks a little wonky. So the content bits and this is not equal to 0. That means we found him. We found him inside. Yep, content bits and production. Public boolean contains byte content bit. This dot content bits and the content bit is not equal to 0. That means it contains it. That's definitely cleaner. All right, the big thing is, I'm gonna do this. Oh, that's not even that much. That's honestly not that bad. Thank God I did this early, because it would have been a serious pain in the ass if I had to do it a different time. So we're doing packet dot content bits and that, which means we have to do instead packet dot contains. So that'll do the content bits it has. Yeah, the content bits it has, followed by, if we look at this, all of this could just be this. There we go. In my opinion, a whole lot easier. Now just take that, and I will just move it down. I might only have 56% back. Man, OBS is really killing it. It's also like steaming hot. I mean, like, I'll give the Mac credit where credit's due. It is doing well, right? Like streaming, and like I have my little like VTuber thing or whatever. I don't know how much performance it takes up or whatever. And I guess I have IntelliJ and the browser, and okay, I'll give the Mac credit. It's handling it pretty well, but it's hot. If the content bits of, okay, so now we could just replace that. I just write it up here and then I'll just paste it into it. I'm looking for the position bit. That is the same thing. It will just be, in my opinion, a whole lot easier to read. That's much, much cleaner. Much cleaner. And then we're just going to search for it and the other parts of the project. This is the actual statement itself, but this is different. Now this is kind of wonky because we are using that. So in a case like this, we're using packet.content bit. So we're just doing packet.contains. And then connection bit. And there we go. That just does the same thing, and in reality, we actually don't even need this anymore. We'll just do that. And, okay, that's dangerous, because that's reading the wrong piece of data. That's not good. Is it? Yeah, that's reading the wrong piece of data, yeah. And that's not a good sign. So we just need to grab this. And then we need to paste this. Just grab this. And then I'm just going to cut this. And there we go. All of it. There's two more? Where? Oh, yeah, right. Oh, it's the same. Same thing. Oh no, it's different. If we're smart about this, we could just do this. Take this, input that read byte, and since it's stored into here, we dump it into here. And then instead of doing this, we just do result dot result dot contains connection bit, and that does the same thing. And once again, in my opinion, far easier to understand what's going on. Result dot contains and the position bit, and that is that. Yeah. Should do the same thing, and then that's just the statement itself. Yeah. Alright, that's it for the stream. I've been streaming for about 2 hours now. I know I didn't do anything too crazy with this networking stuff, but this is always a kind of slower process, and you have to do it right, or, you know, things will go completely wrong. But, thank you all for watching. I hope that eventually, with time, maybe people will stop by, watch the streams, check out the game once it's out, and I hope people can also learn from this. Maybe this game will be an open source project. Maybe I'll release the code. I mean, I don't know. I'm not that fantastic at coding, but maybe people can learn from it. We'll see. So I'm going to end the stream, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye. Bye.